Hello, everyone. Well, I began to do part two, but as I was doing part one, and so many other thoughts come to me. So when I began to do part two, my last video, I ended up telling a little bit, saying a little bit of other things. My mind just kind of went off. And at the end, I finally got back to what I was speaking of, the carnal understanding, carnal spirit understanding. So I went ahead and I'm spliced that end off. So I'm going to, edit the videos a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to edit the one. It's just some experience, some of my experience I've had, in the church and, it's a part of the trial of my faith. And so much has come to me today. It's like I've been so overwhelmed by everything in my life. And, I have a lot hindering me. And I understand it now, though. So, but now once I'm speaking of it, these things, it's like it's all coming. When I speak, it all just starts flooding me again. So I'm going to go ahead and put this experience out, but I'm going to make a short video, and then, to finish part two. And then I'm going to sum it all up when I have time. I have to take care of these coupons. I'll let you know what's going on with me. About the fork in the road that I'm at. Some things I've come to understand about, how I've been going about things, They say, what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So we're taking that same road that keeps you going nowhere, keeps you never getting to your destination. So it's time to change the way we, go about doing things, and it's time to change the road we're on, So I'm going to go ahead and post these, but in the next couple videos you'll understand more of what's happened with me. This is my life. This is what it's always been for. Just because I had the understanding given to me in the 3 years, these things had to be digested and fully seen, fully understood. And it was always what I knew from the beginning. That love was all that ever mattered. There's reason we all had to experience and go through these things. But love will conquer all. Love will have the final word. This I know. And I went through hell to come to know that. To come to realize that what I've always known was always true. I love you all. Many blessings. Anyway, I want to say this. Why it's so hard to speak is because everything you say, so much more needs to be said. I mean, it's just when Epiphany comes, it just brings this other scripture, more understanding. So when you're trying to say it, there's so much, to everything. It's that big. Everything is so big. But if you understand the simplicity, then you can see everything. I know people's wondered. I've lost some, viewers probably. It's all, I just want to say this, my life, and this is going to help explain why I haven't been here. Because just because I was filled, I didn't speak as I was being filled and understand, because there was things I didn't understand. Then I had to digest and then put these things all together. And it's just so much to everything. So all I can do is begin to reason and show forth reason and understanding, and how, my experience. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to bear witness, testify what I have been through, what I have witnessed come through, and how everything happened with me. So anyway, getting back to where I was at, I was talking about, which I don't want to get off because I got to keep this short, because I got coupons, months of coupons that I've lost some because they're out of date. And that's money. That's money at the store right there. Every coupon I don't get in, that's money we just, and we give enough away daily. Too much, really, but because a lot of them, they're just, Steve don't understand that he's just supporting their habits. We found that out. One of our girls is now in jail, and I didn't know. It's just, that's a whole other story, I got a lot going on in this life, but she's better off where she's at. Maybe she can get help. I've tried to help her. I've tried to talk to her, but that's a whole other story. Let's get back to what I'm talking about. So I was talking about when I first, when they first began the doctrines, and I was, I didn't have, all I knew was love. All I knew was the Jesus of my understanding. And that's how I saw everything. That's how I perceived everything, through the eyes of love, that I knew. That was what was in me. But when you get all this other confusion in you, things you don't understand, it just brings forth confusion. And when I can remember first going up, because they point you out in the church, basically. They say something that you think, are they talking to me? Am I the one that should go up to the altar? But the thing was, I always knew. After so long, I don't know when it finally hit, but something in me always said, you don't belong at the altar. That some are at the altar, I knew I wasn't supposed to be at the altar. And but there's more to everything. Because I already had what was given. It was when they give all this other that drowned it out what I had. So I can remember going up to the altar sometimes every day of revival, every Monday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, and then every day of the revival. I can remember them, being up there praying, because they call you up and they play the music and come up and pray, and you're sitting there trying to say everything that you've done wrong, going over things you've done in the past, and I'm sitting there saying, but at first I could still talk, although they had confused my love and Jesus that I knew, I would say, Jesus, what am I supposed to say? What am I not saying? What am I supposed to do? I was just so confused. And that's, ever since the day that I walked into the church and they began, that's when all my confusion began. And there's just so much to everything. But I can remember one certain time, and I don't know how long I had been going to church. Just in case they're right, I got my mother to go. While I tell some, that's a whole other story. What happened when I had finally got my mother and my grandmother to go in a church, what they acted like that made my mother have to walk out of the church. And it was and I know now that minister should have put an end to what was going in there. It was chaos in that church. I can see some being, filled with joy. I can almost see, I don't understand tongues. I don't believe tongues. But I can see that someone could get so, if that's what they believe, I could see someone could have so much love and feel so much love that they could, I could see how something like that could happen to a point, but not what these people did in that church. Running, acting, they were on the floor. The whole church just was chaotic. I had never seen anything like it before. My mother likes quiet. She can't, she's very nervous. She had to leave. My grandmother sit there and watch just because she was amazed at what was happening. But that's a whole other story. But there was the time my aunt was there. And I guess, there's so much more to led up, like what got me up there that time. I have generational curses. They didn't even know me, anything about me. If I had any gift, I was told it's not of God. So, of course, I renounced any gift I had. The fact that I could know what was in people, I did know. I knew that's a whole other story, and I'm not going to get into this. There's, like I told you, there's a lot about me. It's hard to explain. But if there was I can remember the day when I said, if I have any gift, if it's not a God, I didn't want it. you know, and I was so confused. And I had to go through these things that I could learn. So, because a true heart that will seek these things out, a true heart that desires truth, but that heart has to be true. It has to, you know, when I first went, I went with all my, everything in me, my heart, mind, soul, all the strength in me. I went and I said, show me who you are. Teach me that I'll teach my children. Because I could not teach them if I did not understand. But I don't mean that it's going to be easy because of what you already hold within you. He tries to teach. The Spirit tries to teach. But you don't allow it because yourself is the Antichrist. But see, I'm getting off. There's so much to everything. So I can remember the time in the church, and then I'll get back to what I'm saying. That, you know, they was up laying hands on me. And I wasn't really sure exactly what. Was he trying to get me to speak in tongues? I think some of them was praying for that, and some of them was praying for me deliverance, and they was all, and I'm standing up there. And my son was only, I don't know, maybe somewhere between a year and 2. My oldest son, my only son at the time. And my Aunt Tammy was holding him. And when I went up there, and I don't even really, well, anyway. So, and I'm up there, and, you know, I'm standing in the middle. They're all standing around me, and they began pushing me and I was just, and they were just pushing me around. And I just closed my eyes, and I'm like, just saying all I know, Jesus, Jesus, help, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What are they doing? Because, you know, they had already confused me. I already lost, you know, I could no longer, that connection I had to the Jesus of my understanding was already confused in me. And it's hard to go back because I don't ponder. I don't go back. I'm just trying to say how things happen with me. But, and so I'm up there, and I can't even remember exactly everything going through my head. I was just so confused. And I heard my son was crying, like a cry of terror, like I've never heard him cry. In my mind, this should not be right. My son should not be crying like that in a house of God. He should not be scared of what they're doing to his mother. So that went through my head. And then the next thing I know, my Aunt Tammy come up behind me. Well, I didn't see her come up behind me. She came up behind me, and she put her arms around me, and she whispered in my ear. She said, Jesus loves you, Nancy. She said, you've always known that. You've always known that. And when she said, and when I felt her, and, you know, I just started bawling my eyes out. And because she was who I knew. Her words was what I knew. These people around me was alien to me. And, you know, that's all I remember from that is just she was my comfort. You know, she came and comforted me. And, but that's all I remember. I just wanted to share that. But, you know, but to get back, you know, it's so hard. So many thoughts come when you're trying to explain one thing. But I always just get back to this because I do got to finish these coupons before he comes back to see if I've got them ready to ship them out. But